Hey friends, what's up? Welcome back to my farm. It is a lovely but foggy spring morning out here. It's the beginning of March, and while it's not officially spring, it sure feels like it. It has been rainy and warm lately. We're just getting all our morning chores done, and one of the things that I do every morning is come up to my goat barn and get all the girls that are about to have their babies up on the milk stand. They get a little extra nutrition, I get to check them over thoroughly, and we get back in the routine of them coming in one by one every morning to get milk. So if you've seen any of our goat videos before, you might know that we're using a dilapidated old mobile home that was left on our property as our goat barn. And it's worked out surprisingly well. So come on inside. The girls are ready to go, as you can hear. This is my milking room. I've got 2 stanchions. I've got some shelves that I can put all my things on. It's under a roof, so I'm protected from the rain and the sun. It's got good ventilation in here. It works out pretty well. And we've got this little bedroom off to the side. And this is a really great place to separate the baby goats when it's time to start kid sharing. Good morning, ladies. Some of my girls are anxiously waiting to get in to get their breakfast. So in today's video, I thought I would go ahead and introduce you guys to all the does that I'm going to be milking this year and give you a little preview because there's going to be a whole lot of kidding videos coming up in the next few weeks. So I've got a little bit of goat feed mixed with alfalfa pellets and black oil sunflower seeds. And this is their dairy ration when they're getting milked. Right now I'm only giving them like 2 cups, just a little extra nutrition to get them through the end of pregnancy. So I'm going to go ahead and start letting them in. They're going to jump right on the stands because they know exactly what to do. Oh, so pushy, so pushy. No, not your turn yet, Kaora. You gotta wait. First, we have Crystal. She is a boar goat, so meat goat. They're all blowing their coats right now, getting ready for warmer weather. And she's obviously using her horns to scratch some of that loose fur out. She's looking nice and round right now. And then we've got Sabrina, our herd queen, and a favorite goat on the farm. I think she's been here 7 years now. We got her when she was just about 3 months old. And she is super sweet and super violent. Sabrina's a great milker. I don't ultrasound my goats or anything, so I don't know how many they're having. Sabrina has had anywhere between 1 baby and 3. This year, I'm thinking 1, maybe 2. I don't think she's huge, but her udder's coming in nicely. We're getting there. So every morning I'm checking their ligaments. There's 2 ligaments that run along the side of the tail. Usually they're really hard, like a pencil. When they get soft and hard to find, hard to feel, they'll almost vanish. That's when you know you're close to kidding. We're still about a week away from these girls' due dates, but I like to check because you never know when somebody's going to go a few days early. Right, Crystal? Yeah, you're such a good girl. All done? Yeah, it doesn't take them long to eat. Yeah, you're such a good girl. You're such a good girl. Come on. All done. Come on, Sin. No, you gotta wait. You gotta let her out. Gotta let her out. All right. Good girl, Cinnamon. All done? Come on, Sabrina. Good girls. Next, we've got Cinnamon. She is a sister to Crystal. She is also a purebred boar. She typically just has 1 baby. And in the past, I have not milked Cinnamon. She doesn't have the best udder. She's a meat goat, not a dairy goat. And I really don't plan to this year either. I'm actually probably going to try to sell Cinnamon here this year. While we still really enjoy the goat meat, and I'm selling quite a bit of it at our farmers markets, I'm trying to really focus more on dairy, or at least dual purpose goats right now. And since she's not a great candidate for milking, and she typically only has one baby for me, she's not making super efficient use of that space in my herd. And so if I passed her on to somebody else that was looking for purely a meat goat, then that would make a little more room in my herd to keep another good doeling from this year. So, well, I think she's very sweet and I love her quite a bit. I think she would probably be better off in somebody else's flock. But she's definitely got a kid here, and I'm going to make sure that everything goes well with that before I start to try and find her a new home. Good girl. And then we've got beautiful Miss Kaora here. Now, Kaora is definitely a keeper. She is a daughter of Gwen, one of my purebred Nubians, and she's from my Kiko Buck Merlin. So really good genetics with her. She's got an awesome udder. She's got long teats, super soft skin, really good capacity. She's a very well-behaved goat. She's one of my most social goats, and she's just gorgeous. I'm not sure what you even call this in goat coat color terms, but in horses, this would be a buckskin, and that's like my absolute favorite color of horse. So maybe I can't have a buckskin horse, but I can have a buckskin goat. There's actually a color pattern that is called buckskin in goats that is very different from this, but that's just what I call her. She's even got this really cool dorsal stripe on her. I just love her. All right, Cincin. All done. You're such a good girl. Come on, Cheryl. Good girl. Good girl. All done. Ugh. Kaora, you are strong. You are strong and pushy. Come on. Let's let your mama in. Yeah. Mama goes in. Oh, come on. Oh, you want to come in, Heidi? All right. Hey, Miss Heidi. So next we have Cheryl. She is also a Nubian Kiko cross, very similar to Kaora. They were born the same year. And she's also an awesome milker. She usually has 2 kids for me. She's probably my most polite goat. She doesn't get in your way. She doesn't push you around. She doesn't get bullied in the flock, but she definitely doesn't bully anybody else. She's just a super good girl. And I think her color pattern is actually like the goat buckskin, but to me, it's more like a patchwork Nubian. I think she's really pretty. And then we've got Heidi. Now, Heidi is an Oberhasli. She was given to me by a family that couldn't keep her any longer. Before that, she was rejected by a commercial dairy. So she comes from really good dairy line. She has a little bit of a small udder, but it's really nice and easy to milk. She is also a super sweet girl. She's always really quiet. She's kind of towards the bottom of the pecking order in the flock, so she really doesn't mess with anybody. She waits her turn to eat. Sometimes she's a little too shy, or I gotta help her out and bring her into one of the stalls for some extra food when she won't compete for hay and stuff, but yeah. I think she's just gorgeous. I love the color of the Oberhaslis. I believe this color pattern is called Chamazé, where they have black legs and a black dorsal stripe. Very, very pretty. Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure that Heidi is pregnant this year. I keep going back and forth on it. She's just starting to kind of get a belly and develop a little bit of an udder. So we had the buck in with the flock for about a month. I recorded that I saw her get bred early on, so I would think that she would be as far along as some of the other girls, but she's just not. And so I'm just hoping that she got bred late. I did put her back with the buck recently. She showed no signs of going into heat or showing any interest in him. He did not show any interest in her, so... What are you sniffing? What are you sniffing? So I'm hoping that she is pregnant and just a little further behind. But it would be so sad to miss out on a season of milking this sweet girl. So fingers crossed. Either way, she's a keeper. Yeah. Such a good girl. You all done? Yeah, sweet lady. All right. Come on, Cheryl. Let's go. Out. Cheryl out. All right. Come on, fat girl. Oh, you're so big. Get up on your stand. I know it's hard. Get up there. All right. Ready to go, sweet lady? What do you see? You see doggies out there? They're not coming in for you. Come on. No, you're not going in there. Come on. Come on. Heidi out. Good girl. Up, Gwen. Good girl. Good morning. So impatient. So impatient. Next we have Cipso, who's huge. Look at that belly. Look at that belly. It's so big. Let me get the overhead wide view on her. Oh my goodness, girl. You're getting so big. Cipso here tends to be one of my more robust does year-round, so I'm not surprised that she's so big now. She'll probably only have one baby, and it probably won't make much of a difference in her size. She just kind of stays rotund all the time. She's a really good eater. Cipso here is also a boar, meat goat, but I do milk her. She doesn't have a huge udder, but it's really nice, very easy to milk, and she probably has the highest butterfat percentage. It's something that I really need to get tested to see for sure. But the cream line on this girl's milk is insane. It's like 50% cream. I'm basically milking half and half out of her. And I've read that that can happen. While boar goats have never been bred for dairy, somewhere in the development of this breed, some really high butterfat genetics got in there. Oh, are you done? Are you done? And this girl definitely ended up with some of that. So she is absolutely worth milking. Yeah, she's a sweet girl. And then we have Gwen. Gwen is a purebred Nubian. She is one of the oldest goats on this farm, one of my originals. She's super sweet. She likes to give me multiples. So anywhere from 2 to 4 kids from this girl. And I think last year was actually the first full season that I had milked her. Because she's older and she tends to have more kids on her, I didn't want to tax her too much. And she's a little bit more sensitive about having her udder touched, but she did great last year. She gave me quite a bit of milk, and I'm definitely planning on milking her again this year. Now, I know that she's getting older. I'm not sure of her age, but I've had her for 7 years, and she was already of breeding age. She already had a baby on her when I bought her. So this may be the last year that I breed her. I'm really gonna just judge based on condition and how they do through pregnancy and lactation. Right now, she is in excellent condition, and I'm not concerned at all about her age. But we're just gonna have to take it year by year. I have retained a couple of doelings from her. Kaora and Destiny are both her babies. I also have one from last year named Fortune. No, we haven't bred yet, but I've retained her. And honestly, if she has another doeling this year, I will probably retain it. Because I really like these purebred Nubians. She's one of my biggest girls. Her udder's not really coming in too much yet. I think she's going to be a little later in the season. But I do expect all our girls to be done kidding by the end of March. So they should start in about a week, and then they should come in rapid succession over the next 2 to 3 weeks after that. Probably not more than a month before we see some Gwen babies on the ground. Girls done. Come on. No, that's not food. Come on. Come on, big girl. Hey, hey, hey. No pushing. No pushing. Come on. There you go. Good job. Hey, Electra. Come on. Time to go. Come on, old lady. Come on. Hi, Vivian. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Yes. Look at your food. You're a good girl, too. When they beating up on you, you get your eye boogers. You get your eye boogers. Yeah. This black and white beauty here is Electra. And she is a first freshener, which means this is the first time that she'll be having babies. And so the first time that I will be milking her. I've been doing a whole bunch of milk stand training with her. This goat was pretty much wild the first year and a half of her life. So I bred her about 5 months ago. And around that time is when I started bringing her in here because I really needed her to have some time to get used to me touching her every day, getting in the routine of coming in, getting acclimated to this diet, and getting used to her udder being touched so that she is ready when it's time to milk her. And this girl has been doing awesome. I swear she is super smart. She picked it up really faster than any goat that I have tried to train. I mean, we'll see when the actual day comes when I have to milk her, but she'll let me sit there and pretend to milk her, basically, and kicks her hips out of my way and kind of squats down, which is what you want to see. She never kicks me. She doesn't dance around. She just quietly eats her grain. Very excited about this girl. She also looks like she's going to have an awesome little udder. And a lot bigger than I expected from such a little goat. She's kind of a little girl, which is why I waited. She's about 2 now. So you can breed goats at about a year old, but I like to wait and let them get some size on them. It's about as big as she's going to get. But that's fine. She's a good size now. Yeah. Are we friends now? Now that I give you treats every day? She is an Oberhasli Boer cross. She's a daughter of Helga, who you will meet in just a minute. Next we have Vivian, and she's already done eating, so she wants to leave. But she is likely my oldest goat. She came at the same time as Gwen, so she's been here 7 years. I think she's a year or 2 older than Gwen. She's had quite a few beautiful babies for me. She's just an awesome producer. She's also the goat that really taught me how to milk. She's got a great udder for that. It's like a cow's udder. She's got really long teats, super easy to milk. And when I first wanted to learn, this is the goat that I did it on. So she has been a steady producer in my milking lineup since the very beginning. Now, I wasn't sure I was going to breed her this year because the buck that we're using for everybody else is actually her son, Figaro, from last year. But she went into a really strong heat. So I called my friend nearby who has quite a few bucks to choose from. We took her over there. We put her with 2 different bucks over a couple hours. And even though she was definitely in heat and they were trying their best to flirt with her, she was not having it. So we brought her home, put her back in the flock, and I figured, well, maybe we just won't breed her this year. Well, 3 weeks later, she came into a really strong heat again. And at this point, I had my buck in with the rest of the girls, but I had her separated with some of the young ladies that I didn't want to get bred. This crazy lady went ahead and jumped 2 sets of electric fences to get in with that buck and mated with him before we even knew that it happened. So she is looking like she is obviously pregnant with her son's baby. I did talk to my vet about possibly aborting the pregnancy with some Lutalice. You can give an injection within a few days of breeding, and that will end that pregnancy. My vet kind of talked me out of that. She didn't have it on hand. She could have ordered it, but she believes that any of sort of the incestual genetic combinations that I would be worried about that would cause problems with their baby wouldn't show up in just a mother-son breeding. It's kind of something that builds up over several generations. I'm definitely not going to keep her baby as any kind of breeder. It'll probably go into our meat goat program, but I am going to get to milk her this year. Not ideal, but we're going to make it work. Right, crazy lady? Not too old to jump fences. All done? All done, sweet girl? Yeah. You're so big. You're so big. Come on, Summer. Good girl. Good girl. Here you go. Good morning, Summer. All right, Viv, you can go. Come on. All done, big girl. Come on, Helga. You're so snorty today. Are we getting some pollen? I'm a little snorty today, too. You guys got some eye crusties, too. I think our pine pollen is starting to come in. All right. I'll get your food. Okay. I'm excited. So this is Summer. She was actually given to me by a friend of mine last year. I milked her for the end of her lactation, but this will be the first year that she is going to have babies on this farm. She is a mini Nubian. Last year was her first freshening, so it's the first year that she had babies, and she had twins. She did great. From what I understand, she was a really good mom and a pretty heavy producer, especially for a first freshener. I think she's beautiful. She's got some moon spots on her. My buck has some moon spots, so that means that we should have moon spotted babies from these two. I think these are going to be some of our prettiest babies this year. Yeah. And she is always crazy hungry. Yeah, always crazy hungry. Yeah. Summer's the kind of goat that really likes people better than other goats. She's had a little bit of a hard time adjusting in the flock. She's still kind of bottom of the pecking order, but she's kind of found her place. She's found her friends, and she's doing really, really well now. Yeah, that's all you get right now. And then we have this beautiful lady. This is Helga. She's another one of my Oberhasleys. So another one of the chamois colored beautiful girls. And I'm actually still milking Helga. It's going to be a topic of a future video, but I've been milking this goat for over 2 years now. So I'm going to get to milking her before she finishes all her food, and I'll check back with you guys when I'm done. We're going to let Summer out first, though, so she doesn't have to just stand here and watch Helga eat. That's a good girl. No, nobody else coming in. No. Just an out-only situation. These girls all know the routine. They know their order, but they will try to sneak in there and get some extra treats in a heartbeat. Right? Especially you, Kaora. Hold on, girl. Close enough. You gonna leave a bunch of alfalfa? All right. on, Dee. Come on, Helga. Good girls. Good girls. So last but not least, we have Destiny. She's another daughter of Gwen. So she's a Nubian boar cross. Destiny is the other girl that I am still milking. And she's the only one that I bred on a different schedule last year. And I'm really happy I did that because it gave me another goat to supply milk through the winter for us. So she was a little bit harder to train on the stand than some of them. I did a whole video last year about how I trained her. And at the end of that video, it wasn't going that great. She was still kind of a kicker, but she has come a long way. She's really well behaved now. And really enjoying having her as part of my lineup. I'm gonna keep her on that later schedule. So she's gonna kid in July this year and milk her through the winter. And that's probably the schedule that she'll stay on from now on. So that's all the girls that are coming in to the milk room right now. I've also got 4 younger doelings that I retained from last year that I have not bred yet. And I'm probably gonna wait till this fall to breed any of them. And at that point, I'll decide which ones I'm gonna keep. At this point, I feel like I'm gonna keep 2 of them. And that's these 2 girls here, Frigga, who's Sabrina's daughter, and Fortune over there, who's a carbon copy of her older sister, Kaora. She's a Gwen daughter. So I feel like those 2 are definite keepers. And then I've got 2 more that I retained for now that, depending on how they develop, I will probably sell. And that's kind of my plan going forward. I'm going to retain, 3 to 4 doelings per crop and probably narrow that down to 1 or 2 when it comes time to breed them. And that way I kind of keep steady numbers in my flock, and I can be a little more selective about the quality of goats that I keep. Because now that we're focusing more on dairy and the demand for raw goat's milk in this area has been really high the last few years since we started selling it. So I want to make sure that I'm keeping goats that are efficient, that are producing a lot, that are, a joy to milk, that aren't troublesome, that are healthy, and that are going to produce good quality kids. The 4th boar doe that I have, her name's Chastity, but we call her Triple Nipple because she has a split nipple. It's looking like she did not get pregnant this year, and we are probably going to go ahead and just process her. She has not been a great producer. She doesn't have the healthiest kids. She's not really milkable. As her name would suggest, she has a split teat, so not really a trait that you want to breed on. So it's not like I would keep daughters from her anyway. She's just a producer of meat goats. And because of that problem, I also don't really want to pass her on to another family. Probably would have kept her in the program a little bit longer because I hate processing females if she had gotten pregnant, but honestly, it's probably for the best that she did not. We'll be saying goodbye to Triple Nipple pretty soon. And then I've got 1 more lady here. If you saw my last video about new animals that have joined the farm, this here is Rosemary. She is my first La Mancha on the farm. She has not been here long, but she has made her presence known. She's one of the bossiest goats in this flock. Most of the rest of them are terrified of her. Yeah. She's a pretty big girl, and even though she doesn't have horns, she knows how to boss her way around. So she came from my very good friend Mary Lee. She wasn't planning on breeding or milking her goats anymore. And Rosemary here is not that old. She thinks she's only about 4. And she said that she was producing over 1 gallon of milk a day. So she didn't want such a good goat to go to waste. And so when she came to us, we immediately got her bred. So she is due in July as well. And she is going to be a huge blessing to this farm because she's going to produce a ton of milk in the time of year that we really need it. Hey girl, you don't want to say hi? She likes her butt scratched. Yeah. As far as my plans for the baby goats this year, I'm probably not going to keep a lot. So if anybody is looking for a good quality dual purpose homestead goat, they are not registered, they're not purebred for the most part, I'm probably going to have some available. I'm gonna keep quite a few of the bucklings actually, and we will turn them into wethers. We'll castrate them, and those will go into our meat goat program. But I'm probably gonna sell the majority of the doelings. As far as ones I'll keep, I will probably, if Gwen has a doeling, I'll probably keep one from her, and same thing with Sabrina. But other than that, you know, hi Summer. Okay, maybe one from Summer, and then later in the year, maybe one from Rosemary. But I'm gonna try and limit myself to 4 to retain, and then get down to like 1 or 2 once they're a year or 2 old. Oh, baby. Yes, big mama. But baby goat fun is about to start any day now. So that's it, guys. That is the milking lineup for this season. I think we have 11 due in just a week or 2, and then 3 more due in July. Hopefully we'll have a ton of milk for us and for customers. I'll be making a whole lot of cheese. And even though milking is one of the most labor-intensive chores on the farm, it is also my favorite. So I'm actually very much looking forward to the early mornings with a cup of coffee and my girls. I'm gonna try to be more intentional about vlogging all the births this year. We'll see if I can get organized enough to do that and get some more videos out during that time. So I hope you guys will join me for all the fun to come. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.